those of you who, wish to visit parents who are, people who have kids, please don't even bother buying milk, eggs, and all these things. Don't bother. You just come with a diaper. That's enough. Just buy a diaper and a cotton wool.
Yeah.
So, diaper and a cotton wool. Hi guys, my name is Erick.
My name is Grace.
And this is our Bun in the Oven stories.
Yes.
So we've been married for the last 4 years.
Yes.
In January we'll be going to 5 years, right?
Yeah. January 14.
January 14. And we have 2 kids. The first one is called Zion Jerusalem. He's 3.5. And the second one is called Agape Love.
Yes.
And she's only 4 months. So we want to share.
Months.
She's how many months?
Turning
5 months. So we want to share our story with you. Yes. And just our journey. And yeah, so that's what we want to do now. So it all started after we got married, and we were both working in Dubai, and we got married in 2017, right?
Yes, 2017, January 14.
January 14. And so we got married in Kenya, and then we moved back to Dubai, and the plan was to save up some money. And then after 3 years, we moved back to Kenya and start a family. That was the plan. But the Bible says that many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Amen. So it is until 8 months later into the marriage, my wife got pregnant. So how it actually happened, how we found out was she would wake up in the morning and she started complaining, right? Yes. I think you can just tell them what happened.
Yes. Actually, we were using family planning. We were using an IUD, so that's why we were
a non-hormonal
one. So that's why we were avoiding fast to get pregnant and have our babies. And just like what Erick said, we wanted to save fast and
also get to enjoy our marriage, right?
Yes, yeah. So that
we can have some fun.
Yes, have our time fast together. Yeah. So it's just interesting that after 8 months of marriage, now I'm wondering. I was wondering, is it like few weeks? I was like, no, I'm not yet getting my period. And but then later on, we started finding out. I think after 2 months already, or 1.5, I was already vomiting, and I think those symptoms, headaches, and and
that was the time I think we assumed that you were being overworked, because the company that we were working for, she was having to do 12 hours shift. And so we assumed it's fatigue, right? And so early in the morning she would wake up and she would complain of a headache, dizziness, and she would vomit. And I'm like, there's something wrong. So she did that like for a whole week. And so one day she went to work, and then I just, I went to the Google search and I started looking for these symptoms. And I was like, no, she's definitely pregnant. My heart started to beat so fast.
I was like, what are we going to do?
Yeah, no, this is not good. This is not good at all. This is not what we wanted. We are not ready. The timing is so wrong.
Yeah, we're wondering. We're using a family planning yet. How come I'm having the symptoms?
Because we were told it's very secure. 99.999%. It works. So that's what we were told. And so I go look up, and then I see the symptoms, and I'm like, wow, okay. So what I did is I went and bought the pregnancy test kit. Yeah. So when she came back home,
Yeah, so now I remember now Erick say, okay, now this one now will confirm everything, because now I can see I'm starting to have this belly now, it is growing. And so now Erick was saying, hey, so are you ready? to know, this is now the confirmation. Once it's positive. Yeah, so now we were thinking, now what are we going to do? And the funny thing, we should be excited because we are married. And it's normal to get to get pregnant and to have babies. And I think for our side, for our firstborn, we are not excited. That's the truth. We were actually full of now uncertainties. Now what are we going to do? We will have to leave our work. We will have to leave our company. Because
we don't have enough savings yet. Because we had also exhausted our finances because of the wedding, and we had come back. We had come back to Kenya, did our wedding, and then so it was a very, very confusing place to be at the time. And so I remember even when we found out she was pregnant, there was no oh yeah. In fact, we have the video. We even did a video just to see, whether she was pregnant or just for memory's sake. So we found out she was pregnant, and we were not excited at all. That's the honest truth. That's how we felt at the time, because we were not ready. When a baby comes, the responsibilities that come with having a baby. You're not able financially, and so all your plans are disrupted. You feel there's nothing that is working out, and the uncertainty. We don't know about the future. We don't know what's going to happen. Will the company allow us to keep our baby? Will they provide for the baby's visa? Because we were in Dubai. Our salaries were not enough. And so we had so many plans, so many things put together, and then here comes the baby. So we had to now inform. Actually, we kept quiet, right? For how many months was it? 4 or something.
Yeah, we didn't inform yet the company that we are working with now, because now we're thinking they will just
terminate you or
terminate
something
me
like
immediately. And we are saving, and we are planning to go to the Philippines the next year. So now here's Eric. Now we have to go for clinic. We have to do all this checkup now, and we're in Dubai. And so now it needs a lot of finances.
It's very expensive.
We all even remember the time when because my pregnancy, actually, for the first trimester, I was vomiting, and I've been always feeling dizzy. But the good thing is I never have problem with food. The only time
she
I
used
remember,
to eat everything.
the only time is, I think it's just maybe once or twice. Only those 2 days, and then I'm back to normal. I am eating everything. For me, it's okay. I'm not having a problem with food, and even I remember I am growing, I'm really eating well. And so the only challenge we had now with the first pregnancy that we have is now how are we going to get the health benefits now, going for checkups.
Because I remember at that time, the company that we worked for had done away with the previous insurance company, medical insurance company. So they took a new one, and my wife was eligible for the maternity cover, right? For the antenatal clinic visits and all that stuff. She was eligible, and there was a very good amount that was set aside for her. But I remember we were in the hospital that day, and we called the HR, right? Because they gave us, was it a card? There's something they gave us, and we gave to the receptionist, and the receptionist took it to the doctor, and then the doctor was like, no, they are not. So it was cancelled. So we called the HR, and we're like, what's going on? We're not covered. What's happening? So they ended up telling us that the HR has refused, and we asked what was the reason, because I remember they had sent a memo to every department telling them that that you are covered. The position you have. They indicated the position you have and the benefits that you have, and so my wife was covered. So we went to the HR and we told them. Actually, that's what made us now go and tell them. After we realized that they have they've started issues. So we went and told them that my wife is pregnant, because that's where we realized, and this is not happening. It's not good. So we went, and I remember they told us to come back. Then we came back, and they said the general manager has refused. So you guys are on your own.
We have to get, we have to cover everything from our own pocket, from our own finances.
Yeah.
And so that was for us for the first, even until the third trimester.
Yeah.
So when now we are in Dubai, and so
But we spent a lot of money because all
for
our
now the
savings
first
were exhausted. You
trimester.
cannot live in Dubai without a medical cover. It's very expensive. Life in Dubai is very expensive. So when that happened, we just had to take it head on, and we just continued in prayer, and we were asking God for direction and provision. And so it got to a place where now Grace could not be in the front, in the counter, because she was in the shop. So they had a counter. So the guests were not supposed to see her because she was pregnant. It was apparently against the company's policies. So they said, you know what, we're giving you another 2 months, and then you either take your vacation and unpaid leave and your maternity leave and go home, give birth, and then if you want to leave the baby in your country and then come back to work, right? So then we were like, okay, there's a problem here.
Yeah, it's like doors are already closing.
They're already closing for us. So they're now even somehow forcing her indirectly to resign, because they refused to provide for our accommodation. They refused to provide. Okay, they didn't refuse because it was not in the company's policy. So they said, we don't have that, those benefits for married couples unless they have a managerial position or unless they are directors. So what we did is we sat down and we started to ask questions. We had to now make a very critical, important decision. So, and these were life-changing decisions because we didn't want to leave Dubai. But now, the way things are happening, we are being forced to leave Dubai or to now start looking for another job. So we started applying for jobs. But we couldn't get any jobs.
So now we remember those days when now we believe that God is already directing us to come back here to Kenya. So we remember now, even I was pregnant. Now after resigning, we have to resign from our company, and we still have to do a wedding in Philippines, and I'm pregnant also because now that was like the second trimester going to the third trimester. So we travel to Philippines, and I'm pregnant, and then after that is now we went back now here. We came back now here in Kenya to settle.
But there was after we resigned, because the options were she gives birth, goes back to the Philippines. She goes to the Philippines, gives birth, comes back to work in Dubai. But that was almost impossible. We didn't want to leave our kids, our son, with her grandparents. So whether in Kenya or in the Philippines, so we wanted to be a family. We wanted our kids to be with us all
we wanted to raise them ourselves.
Yes, we wanted to be present for our kids. So when they gave us those options and they told us, okay, so the only other way is we will not provide for your visa. You guys can live outside the accommodation because the company was providing accommodation for us. But now when you have a baby, they don't. So we had to live outside. Now, the other thing about Dubai is that it's very expensive. Getting a place to stay is very expensive, you know. Rent is very high. So we were like, if we give birth here in Dubai, number one, we don't even have the money because it was expensive. Delivery, and all the other visits, and the baby's visa, it was impossible. So that's when now we sat down and said, let's resign and let's go back to Kenya. So we gave our papers, we resigned, and now we traveled to the Philippines. And I remember when we got to the Philippines, you fell sick.
Yeah, and I'm pregnant. Boy, that one was bad.
Yeah, she was coughing.
Yeah, and I'm pregnant,
so bad.
and usually, during pregnancy, you cannot take heavy
medication.
heavy medications with those strong those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I cannot just take those things, and I'm coughing. It was really bad.
We couldn't travel, because of the pregnancy.
Yeah.
But something interesting happened. I remember when we were leaving the Philippines, going to Kenya.
Yeah.
You remember we needed a fit to travel letter, right?
Yeah.
And so we go to this hospital because when you're, Emirates or any airline does not allow you to travel when you get to a certain what do you call it?
What they call it? The pregnancy weeks.
Yeah,
now let's say you're 32
so
weeks.
32, they have their policy, so you cannot travel. So we went to this hospital, and so this doctor started looking at, your pregnancy, because we needed that fit to travel. Now we are leaving Philippines. So, I remember she started pressing your stomach.
Yeah, so now there's a doctor there, and she started telling me, hey,
you were 26 weeks then.
26, yeah, I'm still 26 weeks pregnant yet. She's pushing my belly and telling me, you will have an emergency. Your baby is going to come out. So,
and she was pressing hard.
Yeah,
she was pressing hard.
I remember we were wondering no, I'm okay, right? We don't even feel anything that is abnormal with my pregnancy. And
she said your cervix was opening up.
Yeah, and yet it is not yet the time for me to give back.
Yeah.
And so we decided we have to go to another doctor to get another
second opinion.
Yeah, second opinion now. Yeah. Yes. And
but she was saying that we remove the baby.
Yeah,
we do a cesarean.
Yeah.
26
the
weeks.
The baby needs to be in the incubator.
Inject the baby with what do you call it? Steroids.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether to help the lungs.
And that's
grow.
now with the pregnancy with Zion.
Yeah.
Now.
So you can imagine all these things are happening, and we need to travel back. We have booked our flight.
Yeah. We cannot just delay.
Yeah, we can't delay. It's in the Philippines. It's not the final destination. The final destination was Kenya. So we are thinking, man, what do we do? So we went to another hospital where you used to work.
Yeah, we went to another hospital where we used to work. I used to work, and I think it's even divine that I used to work there. So at least we found a doctor. She checked the baby, it's okay.
Everything was fine.
Everything is fine. So we get the fit to
travel.
Yeah. Yes, and
we were so happy. Oh my goodness, we were so happy. So the day came, we were to travel. We traveled to Dubai. I remember you were so sick, you were coughing. We even had to buy you a mask.
Yeah.
I think COVID is not. Yeah, that was in 2018, February.
2018, yeah.
So there are clips we have and pictures where she's wearing a mask. It looks like it's 2020, and it was because she was told to wear a mask. But when we landed in Dubai, because we did a connecting flight, so we landed in Dubai, and then we stayed there for 8 hours, just sleeping on a bench, and you're coughing.
It was very difficult.
It was very difficult, and the place was cold. Yeah. And I remember we now came back to, we landed in Kenya.
Yeah.
And we moved in with our mom, because the whole idea was so she can get to, have a relationship with my family, get to know them, so that they can teach her how to cook. You know, when she gives birth, they can help her with the baby and all those things. So we wanted them to, you know, to get to know. I wanted them to get to know my wife, you know, and for her to get to know them. So it was on. These things are happening so fast. Okay, these things are happening so fast. We are so confused. We were just in Dubai the other day. Now we are here. You know, things are happening so fast. And we are just going with the flow, you know, trying to spend little money, kidogo. And I remember that's one of the reasons why we didn't even give dowry, even though we were not asked for dowry. They don't take dowry, but I had my wife and my kids in mind, you know, because I was thinking, so how about what happens when we get to Kenya? How do we start?
And you have to give back. We don't have
we don't have insurance. We don't have NHIF. So it was on a Sunday, April Fool's Day.
Yeah. So now
Fast.
We landed February 8th, and then after like 2 months, we just came back here. And then April 1st, I had a very bad accident. We were in Huruma, so I was taking the stairs, and as I was taking the stairs, and the light was actually off up there. So now I realized I forgot something. So I turned again. I turned so I can get the beam. I wanted to clean the toilet. And so now when I turned, I think I had missed like four steps or 3, and you know, my pregnancy was I was very big.
You were 38 weeks.
I was
pregnant.
38 weeks, and you know, April now April is my due date. So I turn. I don't understand how I missed this. I missed the steps. I fell from the stairs. In my 38 weeks pregnancy. And I remember that day I was wondering. I was calling Eric. I was like, love, come, check if I'm bleeding. And you know, I was not thinking about anything else. I was just thinking about, I don't know if I have any injury. I was just thinking about my baby. Because I was thinking, maybe I had already get a miscarriage and I'm bleeding. So I was telling Eric, check, maybe I'm bleeding. Now, it was shocking, because now when they were carrying me now, Eric and our friend Shem, they took me to the sofa. Later did we know, Eric checked and he saw that
the ankle was swinging like this.
So
you can see
bones, the bone protrude.
Yeah, it went all the way up,
so
up to here.
So
on this other side.
So now, I don't. It felt like it
was a dream.
It's like a dream, a very bad dream.
Yeah.
And I remember that now we are wondering. Now the good thing is, when they took me to the Huruma nursing, and Eric also checked me. I was not bleeding.
It was actually you know, after you fell and you screamed and we came and picked you up. And you didn't know that you had injured your leg. I remember Shem ran outside to look for a car, and it started raining immediately, heavily. So Shem went outside to look for a car, and it happened that there was a guy who was passing by, and he was driving his dad to the airport. So carrying you was so heavy, so we lifted you, me and Shem, and we put you inside the car. And you know, the thing was, her leg was literally hanging like this, and she was in excruciating pain, and I was now holding the leg like this. It should not move at all because it's painful. She would scream. And one of the things that we thank God for is she didn't fall on her stomach. Because if she would have fallen on her stomach, she would, you know, the baby's spine is usually here. So she would have snapped my son's, you know, back. So Zion could not have survived. Yeah, he could not have survived. Either he could have been born with a disability, but he could not have survived because the impact was very, very severe. So we rush you to the to Huruma nursing. Then, you know, we put you on a bed, and the stairs are so small. We are trying to fit the bed through. You can't go. You're heavy. We had to lift the bed up. You know, take you all the way to the 4th floor. And we get to the 4th floor, and there's this, you know, there's not enough space to go to the other side. So we are just trying to find our way in. And so they scan your leg. Then we come down again. And I remember waiting there, and you know, we are asking after the scan now, we are asking ourselves, so now where do we go? Because the hospital we went to was to refer us to another hospital where they can actually fix the leg. So we are standing there and we are calling hospitals and they are saying, no, there has to be you have to give a deposit, right? So so they came, they put a box, cotton box, they put on her leg to stabilize it. So I had to, because all that time I was holding her leg like this, right? I was holding her leg like this. So then it happened that one of our friends called Nairobi. I don't want to mention the name of the hospital, but there was a hospital that was willing to admit you even though you don't need to give deposit, right? So we went to that hospital, and I remember that day, love, if you remember very well, the ambulance guy came, we put you inside the car, and then he decided to use the rough road instead of the highway. And when you're in the car, it's just bumpy, it's just, and so your leg is moving and you're screaming. Yeah, I was so angry at that driver. So anyway, we get there, and we take you to the room, and I remember you struggled to sit you were getting tired on one side.
Yeah, so now, during pregnancy, it is not actually good to lie back,
Facing
especially flat with your back. So usually you're advised to always stay on the left side, especially when you're lying down, when you're sleeping, or you can alternate on the other side. But then we are advised that the blood will not circulate on the baby if I'm lying down flat. And so I remember, because of that accident, now I have to lie down flat. And every time now my leg will move, I'm screaming because of the pain, and it was really, really bad. And so I remember that.
And they couldn't give you.
Yeah, they cannot give me this
painkillers.
Because of the baby.
Because of the baby.
Yeah, it's not good for the baby, and so now they have to give me the one that is dripping,
yeah,
the fluid.
Yeah,
but then I don't even feel the.
It was mild, very mild.
So
she was still feeling the pain.
Yeah, so it was very sad, because that night, when we moved to another hospital, there was still no doctor to assist me. And with that, I think the difficult part with that accident is because I'm pregnant. And now I'm feeling tired, and then I'm feeling tired also on my leg, and then that night, even until the next day, we're still waiting for a doctor to assist me.
Yeah, they are the what do you call them? The orthopedic.
Yeah, orthopedic, for the legs.
Yeah, so there was no doctor at night, so but they took you from that room, and so we carried you all the way. Even moving you from one bed to another, carrying you was a big problem. So we managed to take you to the ward, I remember.
Yeah.
And so I was so tired. I was so tired, because now every time the leg moves, we put some towels on the side, and they were so slow. You're asking for pillows. My wife is tired. Blankets. It's cold. Nothing is coming, and I'm just there. I'm seated, and I stand up when she screams. I hold her leg, and then she goes back to sleep, and then I go sit down. Then the leg moves again. I stand up. It was insane. It was crazy. So the next day, I remember the doctor came and said around 10, right? So he looked at the leg and said, we need to operate on this leg, and the amount is 200,000. Yeah. Now we didn't have 200,000. Okay. So he comes and says. So we asked him. I remember asking him. I asked him, is it going to affect the baby?
Yeah, because now the second hospital where we went to, they are advising us, we have to do you a cesarean.
No, the second hospital now that
remove the baby so that you can undergo surgery for my leg. And now we were wondering, like, we have to do a cesarean again, like the same thing that happened in the Philippines. They want to remove the baby again, and it's not yet time. I'm not bleeding.
She's not bleeding. The baby is
okay.
Fine.
The baby is beating well. So now we are wondering why it's going to be a lot of pain.
And the orthopedic doctor said it's okay.
Yeah.
We don't need to remove the baby.
Yeah, that's not for the third hospital that we went to.
Yeah, no, the second hospital.
After
Roma nursing, that hospital that we went to, when the doctor came and checked your leg, he said it's okay, it won't affect the baby.
Yeah.
They can do the surgery. So it is until after a few, like maybe 30 minutes later, now the gynecologist came and said, I want to check on the baby. They checked on the baby and they said the baby was okay. And then now they said, but now we have to remove the baby. And I was like, why would you want to remove the baby? The baby is fine. So she says, no, it's once they inject you with anesthesia,
the blood will not circulate.
there will be a problem. So we were like, what is the other option? Can you give us another option? And they were like, no, that's the only way. It won't work any other way. So I was like, okay, sawa. So I told Grace, let's start packing and leave, because we didn't want to touch that baby. So I remember they sent someone, because we needed to now move her. So we wanted an ambulance. So they were charging the ambulance 10,000 Kenya shillings for less than 2 kilometers. Okay, the hospital was less than 2 kilometers to the new hospital that we were supposed to get admitted, or we were moving into. 2 kilometers, less than 2 kilometers, 10,000 shillings. So I told my wife, no. So there is a guy who came and he said, you guys, okay, you do this, don't listen to these other people, just give me 4,000. So okay, fine. So they moved us to Coptic, so that's where we went to Coptic. So we went there and it was around 5. I remember it was 5. So the doctor happened to be in the hospital, but he was not the in-house doctor. He was those doctors that there's the in-house doctor and there's another doctor that they call. So on-call doctors, I think, I don't know. But he came and he looked at the leg, and so I remember he put some stuff on your leg and allowed it to dry. And I remember he pulled your leg and just slapped it, and the bone went back to its place. And you screamed and you went to sleep. She literally screamed and just either fainted or something, because it was so painful. And she started tearing, and she couldn't move. She was just there like this. So then they started working on her leg. They put the cast and all that stuff, and we were told to go home. We were not admitted. Yeah. Now that was a miracle, because the reception was already telling us, you need to give us a down payment of 60,000 for us to admit her. So we had not done that yet. So we decided to go home, and that was on the 2nd of April, right?
Yeah. So because now we have to raise an amount of
200,000. The doctor said no, it was 360,000.
Okay.
So what the doctor did is the doctor said, since now we've put the leg together, we need to do an operation called ORIF. Okay, so it was called ORIF. So they have to, put the bone together again because it was broken. So, and he said, you guys will need to spend 360,000, and you have to make sure that you have to come back at least 7 days from now. And we are thinking we don't have 360,000. And the reason why he says it was expensive was because he gave us the option. He told us, now we don't have to inject the spine anesthesia. We don't have to interfere with the baby. So what we are going to do, we are going to numb the knee downwards. So we thought that was a good idea. How come the other hospital did not tell us to do that, right? Yeah. So so we said, okay, fine. Then once we get the money, we will come back. So we left and we went home. Now we got home. Now we have to carry her to the stairs. chest zinakaa hivi. And so we lift her and she's very sensitive, you know. She's heavy, she's in pain still. So we place her on the bed. So I remember taking you.
So now many times, you see, because I'm still pregnant and yet I have a broken leg, so I need to use a crutches.
Yes.
So imagine now I'm pregnant. I used to tell Eric I hate that crutches so much because of my pregnancy. I'm so big, I can't. You know, you have to. It's like you're jumping.
You couldn't even hop.
I can't even hop,
Yeah.
and then now and then Eric has to carry me to the toilet. I can't because I can't do anything. He needs to bath me, put me an adult diaper during my pregnancy. So now I was even thinking, wow, now Lord, I was telling God, no, it's going to be difficult because I'm bedridden. Most of the time I'm just in the bed, and I'm on my third weeks of third trimester. So usually third trimester I need to be walking, I need to be moving, or else I will do cesarean. So I was I will gain a lot of weight. So I was telling God, now Lord, I'm going to gain so much weight. I'm not moving because I'm bedridden. What will happen now? And we were expecting from April first week until May 1st.
Almost May 1st or
May
April
1st.
28th. There
Yeah, it's my due date
is when
now.
they said it will be the due date.
It's even the Lord. So it was just interesting that April 5th, after 4 days of the accident, I gave birth.
Yeah.
And I haven't gone for the surgery. So April
it was
5th.
April 4th.
April 4th.
You were sleeping, and then
That was already midnight.
it was midnight. Yeah. Now April 5th now
already.
around 2 a.m. in the morning, we are all sleeping, and then you start saying, love, you know, there's something that's coming on. I'm losing the baby. I'm having a miscarriage. Love. So I switch on the light, and then we are just seeing blood, and we are thinking, done, the baby is gone. And so my mom comes, right, and she's like, she looks and she says that, relax, she's giving birth.
Yeah.
You know, the baby has come. And we were like, no, Mom, are you sure? Yes, the baby has come. Call for the Uber. So we carried you down.
Yeah, so it's like the funny thing, we just came out from the hospital at April 2nd. Now, after 2 days, we're going back to the hospital because now I have to give birth. And so the interesting thing is now when, you know, I have to labor for 8 hours for the firstborn Zion, and so now I'm laboring, and you know, I was told now we have to move to that ward now where I have to give birth.
Yeah,
and so now usually a man or the husband is not allowed there in the ward, but this time it's exceptional. He needs to be there because now I cannot hold. I don't have the strength with my leg to hold my leg, and even those nurses, they can't handle it alone. So Eric needs to be there. He's holding my leg on the other side,
but
and I'm trying
before
to
we
push.
get there,
Yeah.
before we get there, I remember you are lying on the bed, and of course you're in pain.
Yeah.
And you're like, play some music,
Every time I will feel
I want music. Yeah, so someone calls me, the music goes up. I want music.
And there's a certain song, a gospel song.
Yeah, you wanted a gospel song. I still remember the song until today. So playing the music would keep you calm, and then the contractions would come, and they would come, and they would go.
And
but I remember,
then you'll be receiving calls.
and I'm receiving calls because people want to get to know what's going on. So I had to now turn off put the flight mode, and I'm sitting there and I'm praying.
And asking you for
I remember you're in
also.
pain, and I'm praying, and I'm telling God, please let my wife give birth normally. You know, the normal birth. I was praying, I wept, I cried out to the Lord. I said, God, because I'm thinking she gets the cesarean done, and then she has already another leg. She has a leg that is injured. You can imagine, and then here is the baby. I'm thinking, how am I going to manage all this alone? You know,
it's going to be a lot.
It's going to be a lot of things, and we were so afraid of cesarean. You know, we had bad stories before, so we were like, God, no. So I was just interceding. I was just praying, and I remember telling God, please get me out of this. So the baby now starts coming. So the doctor walks in. The doctor comes in, and the guy looks at my wife and says, actually, I remember the nurses. They said, who you? tutafanya tu cesarean. Yeah. And I was like, no. And then the doctor came in and said, are you sure you're going to be able to push? She said, yes, I'm going to push. I'm going to push until the baby comes out. I'm going to push. So, so I remember now that one nurse was, holding the other leg, and me, I was holding the leg that had the cast. Right, I'm just pulling it, and it was so heavy, and I remember my back was in distress. It was so painful.
It was 8 hours of labor.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
no, it's even, I think, more.
It was more. It was probably more.
No, I think 8 to 11 hours.
11 o'clock.
Yeah.
So the baby came. So you can imagine I'm looking at everything that's happening. And they are cutting her, and I'm thinking, kata vibaya. What is that? These guys are cutting too much. I'm in fear. I'm worried. I've never seen anything like that. So, so I'm looking at my wife, and yes, chungu apart from the pushing and all that, So, but I was there, just trying to encourage you to push.
Yes. Yeah, for me, I think I was now, because I'm almost jumping for the second pregnancy. Yeah. This one, I was so happy. He's there for me, holding my leg. And yes, and we give birth.
I'm telling you to push.
Yeah, so it was a normal delivery, the firstborn, Zion. So we really give glory to God.
I remember something else.
What is
Don't rush. Don't rush. I remember when now they were to stitch you. Yeah. So they I remember they gave you they couldn't give you, they couldn't just inject you, and so they had to put you to sleep. They had to put you to sleep. So because of the pain on the leg and the pain of stitching, so they had to put you to sleep. So I'm thinking you're feeling pain, and I'm talking to you, and you're responding to me, and they're stitching you, and I'm like, she can still hear me, So me, I'm thinking in my mind, hey, she's feeling pain because she can still hear me. That was what I was thinking. In fact, I remember getting into a heated argument with the doctor. They almost threw me out. I was like, add some more, add some more. But I was told, she won't remember anything when she wakes up. And sure to that one, when you were taken out to the ward now, and I was asking you questions. Love, do you remember me asking you questions? You said no. Do you remember them stitching you? No, I don't remember anything. So I felt like I just needed to go to the doctor and apologize, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's now with our firstborn Zion, and